Hello, and a very warm welcome. I'm an AI expert specializing in modern hospitality operations, and it's a real pleasure to be here with all of you, the students of Europe Hotel School, as you start this online learning journey. We are absolutely thrilled to support your professional growth in this incredible industry. I want to start with this quote because really it gets to the heart of everything we're going to talk about today. It perfectly frames modern technology, not as something that replaces people, but as a powerful tool that enables genuine human-centric hospitality. You see, the goal isn't to automate a warm welcome. It's to automate the boring, repetitive tasks that get in the way of it.
So, how do we actually do that? Well, we're going to break it down into four main parts. First, we'll look at how technology can become a true strategic partner. Then, we'll dive into how it streamlines the day-to-day operations, which, and this might surprise you, actually leads to a better human touch. And finally, we'll look ahead to the future, what it takes to build a truly smarter hotel.
All right, first things first. Let's get a really common misconception out of the way right now. The goal of high-tech hospitality is not about reducing staff. It's about empowering them. It's about a strategic shift, a reallocation of human energy, moving your team's focus away from administrative tasks and onto what really truly matters, the guest.
The best way to think about a robust property management system is as your team's silent partner. It's working quietly, efficiently in the background. It handles the logic of billing, of room assignments, of data, and it does it with a precision that, let's be honest, humans can't always guarantee. And this frees up your staff to focus completely on the guest experience.
And the impact of this shift, it's huge. Just imagine a front desk agent who is suddenly free from the tedious, mind-numbing task of manually entering passport info or filing registration cards. They instantly gain the mental space to have a real, empathetic conversation. You see, it's the difference between just processing a person and truly welcoming a guest. This idea of empowerment, well, it leads us right into our second point, streamlining operations. I think the best way to picture this is to imagine technology as the hotel's digital nervous system. It connects every single department, allowing for seamless, totally coordinated service.
Automated messaging is a perfect example of this. So instead of that passive waiting game a guest plays before their trip, the pre-arrival phase suddenly becomes an active touchpoint. You're sending timely, accurate info like, say, airport transfer options or the local weather forecast. This builds trust before the guest even walks through the door, and it frees up your team to handle the really complex questions that need a personal touch.
Now, to really appreciate how great that is, let's just consider the old way of doing things for a second. In a manual environment, a simple guest request travels along this fragile chain of phone calls and handwritten notes. And as you can imagine, information can easily get lost or delayed, especially when things get busy. Think about how fragile this process is. A guest calls down for some extra pillows. The receptionist then has to call housekeeping. A supervisor might leave a little sticky note for a room attendant. At any one of these points, that request can be forgotten or just misunderstood. And boom, you've got a service failure. Now, contrast that with a centralized digital system. The request is logged once. Instantly, it's visible to everyone who needs to see it. The system tracks it all the way from creation to completion, which creates a whole new level of accountability. A flickering light bulb in a room? That can now trigger an instant alert directly to an engineer's phone for a super fast response. And this efficiency, it extends to things like document storage too. We're moving away from those dusty filing cabinets in the basement, which are slow and not very secure, to the digital cloud. And what does that mean? It means instant, encrypted access to documents, way higher security for sensitive guest data, and a much more eco-friendly, efficient operation overall. Okay, so all this talk about operational efficiency, it begs a really important question. How does any of this actually translate into a better guest experience? And that brings us to our third section, which is my favorite. It's all about enhancing that human touch by shifting our focus from simple transactions to meaningful interactions. The checkout process is the perfect example. The old way, we all know it. It meant long queues in the morning and a conversation that was focused on a credit card machine. But the new way, with digital folios and one-click payments, completely transforms this friction point. The agent is no longer a cashier, they're a host. Their only job is to offer a warm, personal farewell and sincerely invite that guest to come back. But here's the thing. A tool is only as good as the person who's using it. The success of any new technology really comes down to the culture of the workplace. A team that's curious, that's open to learning, they'll very quickly find that these tools are actually designed to make their jobs less stressful, not to replace them. And that is why the role of a training manager is so incredibly critical. They have to frame these new systems as allies.
The key is to show staff, step by step, how this technology directly benefits them by reducing errors, by getting rid of repetitive work, and by preventing all that stress that comes from manual inefficiency.
So this brings us to our final and maybe most strategic point. When you embrace this technology, you're not just improving today's operations, you are actively building a smarter hotel for tomorrow, one that moves from just being reactive to guest needs to being truly anticipatory.
You see, all the data that's collected by these systems, it provides invaluable insights. By analyzing trends, management can make smarter, data-driven decisions. This means optimizing your staffing for peak times, anticipating what services will be in demand, and even performing proactive maintenance. I mean, imagine knowing that the AC unit in room 305 is likely to fail before the guest even checks in. That's the power of data.
Ultimately, all of this leads to the ideal state of modern hospitality, what we call the high-tech, high-touch balance. Technology provides a flawless, totally reliable framework, and within that framework, your staff is finally empowered to deliver the true art of service, that unexpected kindness, the personalized recommendation, the genuine human connection. That's the magic.
So the question really isn't if technology will be part of hospitality's future, it's how you are going to use it. As technology continues to free us from all the mundane tasks, the real opportunity is in your hands. So I'll leave you with this. How will you use that freedom to create the kind of magic that makes a guest stay truly, truly unforgettable?